one, but it only recorded. I don't know. I must have done something weird to it. So I've got a big announcement. Tara, one of Megan's coaches, hit diamond today, which is awesome. We all know, like, a huge accomplishment. So congratulations. It's probably why you're drinking your wine to celebrate, huh? So that's amazing. It's such a big accomplishment whenever you hit it. So congratulations to you.
Thanks.
And she's going to speak tonight a little bit about her social media and some other things that she's got to share with us. And then afterwards, if we have time, we'll, everyone can ask questions, or we can share, struggles and successes of the week. So Tara, I'll give it right over to you. I'm going to mute, or can everyone mute themselves if you're not muted? And then I'm going to mute myself too so the recording comes out nicely. So Tara, go ahead and you can take it away.
Okay. Hopefully everyone can hear me. I don't think I'm muted, but yeah, so I just want to share a little bit about just kind of my journey to like starting out and like to today, getting to diamond, and kind of my like niche market and how I define my brand, and just how things have progressed for me like in the last year. So I've been coaching for just over a year, and when I first started out, I really had zero intention of building a business or starting a business. I just kind of signed up for the coaching opportunity like right away just for the discount. And then after I did my first challenge, I realized that this was something that I could do and I was really passionate about. And so I was like, I can do this, So I jumped right in and started hosting my challenge groups, and I was really just focused on like selling challenge packs and filling up my challenge groups and really just focusing on hitting Success Club. And my goal was like Success Club 5 every month. And, I had some good momentum going, and that was great. And I made my investment back, and I was covering my Shakeology, but then I kind of hit a plateau. And, it was like roller coaster, up and down, back and forth. I was struggling to fill my challenge groups and to hit Success Club every month. And it was just really stressful. And then at the end of last year, beginning of this year, Megan and I sat down and we chatted about goals, and she basically said, like, let's get you to diamond, let's do this, what's it going to take? And so I pushed my goal to Success Club 10. And what I realized when I did that was, like, when I set my goal at 5 every month, I would kind of shut down as soon as I hit Success Club 5. I was like, okay, if I hit my goal for the month, I'm done. And at the beginning of this year, I, started pushing for Success Club 10, and I found that, I would get there and I wanted to keep going. So like my first, point of advice or whatever is just to like set your goals really high, because, you're just like, I'm competitive with myself. So you're just more apt to reach them. And the one thing that I tell my new coaches is that, don't just focus on the retail side, because that's what I did for the first several months of my business. And I just thought, like, I just need to fill my challenge groups. I just need to hit Success Club 5. I didn't focus on recruiting. I didn't focus on really identifying my brand and who I was and who my audience was. And it wasn't until early this year that I realized that's what I needed to do to get where I want to go. So like, I'm a full-time working mom. I have 2 kids, and my goal is to leave corporate America and make fitness coaching and Beachbody my career. And I realize now that the only way for me to get there is to build my team and figure out strategically how I need to do that. So I do marketing for my full-time job, so I feel like I kind of have like a pretty good grasp on social media. And when people tell you to post consistently, like, you definitely need to listen, because that's really what has worked for me over the last handful of months, like this year, is posting consistently 3 to 5 times a day. I have my personal page and I have my fitness page, and I post on both of them, and I try to post different things, and sometimes I'll share posts, but I don't get a lot of likes sometimes. I don't get a lot of action on a lot of my posts. And at first I got really discouraged about that. But what I realized is that I started filling my challenge groups without really even having to do anything. I had people that were reaching out to me every month. So by posting consistently, people are seeing what you're doing, they're paying attention. They might not be actively engaging with you, but it does pay off because they are seeing what you're doing and they're seeing your results and they're seeing your motivation and your inspiration and whatever it is that you're posting, and they are paying attention and they will start coming to you. And I started getting referrals. I started getting like, hey, my friend is interested in 21 Day Fix or whatever. And all of a sudden I was at Success Club 10 in the first week of the month. And it was like, wow, you know, and then I was hitting Success Club 18. And, you know, so things just really started to take off when I really sort of took off those limits, like, oh, I can hit Success Club 5 and be done. I removed all those limits and just thought like, well, what if I set my goal at 20? What would happen? So setting those goals really high, being consistent in social media and your posts is really important. And like really identifying who you are and who your audience is. And I feel like I've been fairly clear about that, like from the beginning, but I've really been able to dial in and figure out exactly like who I'm talking to and the message that I want to get across. And my focus is really about well-being and balance and improving yourself and starting that journey on the inside. So it's like the inside out, and it's not just about getting a bikini body, and I want a bikini body and I don't apologize for that, but that's not why I do what I do. It's to help people live happier, healthier, longer lives, and that's my message consistently. And I struggled for a while because like I felt like I didn't have a story to tell. I don't have this huge transformation. I was never overweight. I didn't have a ton of weight to lose. I joined because I wanted to lose baby weight. You know, so I didn't have this huge physical transformation, but in conversations with Megan, what I figured out was that I had this, you know, this mental transformation. I had this mindset transformation, and my life completely changed. And I now am able to like share this positive energy and put it out there. And I don't apologize for that. That's just who I am and what I do. And that's the message that I send. And people who are drawn to that are going to follow me. And what I don't try and do is be everything to everybody, because I feel like you just can't be. You spread yourself too thin, and you just really have to identify who you are, what you are, who your audience is, and what your brand is. And like I don't know, there was some training that I listened to or something, and it was like, if you don't believe in yourself, like how is anyone else going to believe in you? And if you don't know who you are, how's anyone else going to know who you are? So I feel like all those branding exercises and identifying like what you want your message to be are really key and really important, like in the beginning. And if you haven't done those things, like I encourage you to do them early on, because really defining who you are and who your audience is will really just help you. You can narrow your message and really make your messages like on point and really speak to your audience and then engage with them. So anyway, you know, like I said, I've been coaching for like a year, and, you know, I hit that plateau, and I feel like once I started raising my goals, things just kind of started falling into place. And then when I went to Summit, it was kind of like this big, huge eye-opener, and I realized I have to stop focusing on just filling my challenge groups and selling challenge packs, and I really need to focus on building a team. So I had just signed up like a handful of coaches, like maybe 3 or 4 coaches before Summit started. And I was feeling super overwhelmed. Like I work full time. I was like, how am I going to mentor these people? How am I going to help them succeed when I'm kind of just winging it and doing what I can? And then I went to Summit, and it was an amazing experience. And I realized how important like being that support for your team is, and building that team. And now my focus is less on, you know, challenge groups, and I fill those, and I hit Success Club and all of that, but I'm really focusing more of my time now on developing my coaches and recruiting my coaches. And my goal now is adding 5 new coaches a month, and basically just offering the coaching opportunity to every single challenger. And I present it as like a discount program. Like, this is kind of a no-brainer. If you love Shakeology, if you love the workouts, you should just do this, because you can save $15 a month. Why wouldn't you want to do that? I mean, maybe that's a lot of money to some people, maybe it's not a lot to other people, but it's $15 a month, you know, after your coaching fee and your Shakeology with the discount. So I position it that way, and I'm just like, if you don't want to save money, fine, but you know, like, why wouldn't you? And so that is kind of working. And then doing the coaching sneak peeks, you know, help a lot, like just getting people engaged in a group and giving them a glimpse into what we do. That's helped a lot. And the clean eating groups have helped. I've gotten like 2 really good working coaches from past clean eating challenges. So all of those things are like, you know, added value that you can do. Give people a glimpse into what you do and what the group environment is like. And then when you offer that coaching opportunity, it's kind of like, I offer it as the discount program, and then I kind of feel them out. Like, maybe they want to make a career out of this, maybe they don't, but I feel them out, and then I let them talk to me and tell me kind of what level they want to participate in, and then I just support them at that level, and I make sure that they know, like, there's not going to be any pressure from me to, you know, do anything other than what they want to do. If it's a discount coach, great. If they want to invite a few people to challenge groups, great. And if they want to make it a career, I'm more than happy to support them. So that's the approach that I take, and it's like no pressure, and I'm really working hard on supporting my team so that we can grow and my business can grow. And it took me a long time to get the strategy of this business down. I mean, I literally sat in front of my computer for probably 2 to 3 hours one night and watched video after video on YouTube about like how team cycle bonuses work, the strategy behind signing up your spouse, the strategy behind like placing your coaches, and none of that really made sense to me until real recently. And I know that's challenging for a lot of people. So the sooner you can grasp that strategy, the sooner you can put it into play and start really strategizing and building your business to be successful, because you need that solid foundation to continue to grow your bank and your rank and stay, you know, stable. So that's, I don't know, I'm not sure what else to say or talk about, but that's my story, and that's kind of been my journey. So I'm an open book. So, you know, if anyone has any questions or comments or whatever, just feel free to ask.
I think that was great. I want to ask you a little bit about, because I think I don't know as much about your team and where each of you are, but I know the girls on here from my team are sort of in a similar place. They're all very, very close to Diamond. Mm-hmm. And I think moving from, you know, only recruiting and selling challenge packs and filling those challenge groups to supporting a team can be a tricky, like, transition. Can you tell me, like, a little bit about, like, supporting your team? You know, like, what do you do with, like, your coaches that you think has helped develop them? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think, I think number one, you know, like just creating that relationship from the get-go, getting to know exactly like what path they want to be on. You know, you want to make sure you're like on the same wavelength, because if you're working with a hobby coach and trying to push them into a career position and that's not what they want, like it's a waste of your time. And I early on like brought on some coaches that just probably, you know, they said they wanted the career, but then they didn't put in the work, and I spent a lot of time with them. And it just ended up being like a lot of wasted time and effort. So I think being really clear about what path they want to be on and then supporting them. And the way that I support my coaches is I send them a form when they first sign up, and it's just kind of like a general, like, you know, get to know you form. It says welcome to the team. It introduces them to the big body burn group and then my personal team. And then it just asks them some basic questions just so I can kind of get to know a little bit about them. And then from there, we do a call, just a quick call to be like, hey, welcome, you know, here's the deal. We want you to hit Success Club in your first month. Like, let's set up a plan. And then so like after that, then I put them into Coach Basics. So we have a self-paced Coach Basics training. I don't know what just happened, but I can't. Can people still hear me? Okay. So then we have a self-paced Coach Basics training, and it's like a 7-day self-paced training. They can do it, you know, on their own time. And then that really tells me if they're serious or not, because if they don't put the time into that training, And actually, before the Coach Basics, I have them do the Getting Started training in the back office. And they can do that simultaneously or whatever. But if they don't put the time in to do those trainings, then I don't dedicate a lot of time to them, because I'm not going to beg them to go through training, because it's just not worth it. They're not going to put the time in. But if they go through the training and they're asking questions, then I know they're serious about wanting to make this a business. So those are the coaches that I really spend time with and share anything that I can. So then we share, our Google Drive with scripts and give them assignments on, okay, we've got a clean eating challenge group coming up, invite this many people, here's the script, here's the post, and I give them exactly what they need to do. And then same with our first challenge group. So I have them invite like 10 people, and then do our first group, and I basically run the group, and then from there, they can continue to co-coach with me, or they can go off and do their own groups. And I haven't had anyone go off and do their own groups yet, but I have a couple that are like really serious workers that have several people in our groups. So I think that'll happen soon. But then they share the responsibility of posting the daily post in our challenge groups. So, that's pretty much like all I do right now. And I'm still formulating like my organizational stuff, like all my files and scripts and all of that, just because that wasn't a focus of mine earlier. But now that my team is growing, I'm really focusing on organization and getting all my scripts in order and all my documents and forms and things so that they can easily access those in my Google Drive.
Awesome. I have one more question. Is there anything that you can pinpoint that you think helped your two coaches hit Emerald? That's what you were waiting on, right? Emeralds?
Yeah. Yep, exactly. So I think really stressing Success Club and hitting Success Club every month with them, and like explaining what Success Club is and why they want to hit it. And that's where I think really understanding like team cycle bonuses and the strategy behind signing up your spouse and all of that. Like if you can't explain that to people, then like if you don't get it, they're not going to get it. And it's a like weird concept to grasp. So I feel like you really need to get a handle on that so that you can explain that to your coaches, because the sooner they understand that, then they're like, oh, okay, I see the potential. Like I get it. I get how this works. So really stressing hitting Success Club 5 every single month. And I just focus on that. It's 3 people. I feel like backing into your goals makes things like seem easier. Like when I say Success Club 18, that seems like a lot, but when you break it down to how many people that actually is, it seems a lot easier. So I do that with my coaches too. Like that means you help 3 people this month, or if their goal is 10, that's 5 people. So setting those goals with them and then checking in with them and checking my online office and seeing where they're at and just encouraging them to, keep inviting and keep reaching out. But that was key, is just really focusing on hitting Success Club and then explaining the concept behind why you want to get to Emerald. And I went back and forth with my one coach, and she had so many questions, and I'm so glad I finally understood this concept, because she never would have gotten to Emerald as quickly as she did had I not understood the strategy behind that. So I think being able to explain that is really key.
Awesome. These are like great points. Anyone else have questions?
Hi, Tara. It's
Hi.
Tegan.
Hey.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thanks. My Success Club partner.
Aww.
But anyway, I do have a question. Just knowing that you're a working mom and you work and you have 2 kids, how much time do you devote to the business? And then would you mind sharing how much time do you devote to recruiting for your challenge groups versus how much time do you invest in, building your coaches?
Yeah, so I wish I could say I had like a breakdown, but I don't. And I feel like I'm a fairly organized person, but with this business, I feel like I wing it so much, and I'm trying to get better about like tracking and organizing everything and just having that paper trail. And I'm a paper person, so just writing everything down and keeping track of everything. But I mean, I would say that I probably put in between 1 to 2 hours a day, and that's probably divided, I don't know, maybe equally. You know, I'm probably focusing a little bit more on coaches now than I ever have been, but and I feel like it takes a lot more time. I'm spending a lot more time like interacting with my coaches. So whereas before I was working maybe an hour each day and not even that sometimes, just on like challengers and challenge groups and stuff, I've had to bump that up because like just communicating with my coaches like takes up time. You know, they have questions, and that usually happens like in the evening when they're home. You know, so I feel like probably around 2 hours, and it's probably a fairly even split right now. But I'm, you know, like really focusing on developing my coaches. So that's kind of my focus, and less on like challengers. Not that they're not important, but I'm just trying to focus on developing them so that they can kind of go off and do their own thing. So they don't need me as much, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's helpful.
Helpful. Thanks. It's just something that I'm struggling with personally. I think I just wing it. I need to come up more with a schedule.
Yeah, I was thinking today on my commute home, you know, like I wish I could sit here and say like I have this great tracking system and I'm so organized, but I'm not. I just, you know, I feel like working full time, you know, you get through what you need to get through, and you're lucky if you can do that, you know. So it's hard, but I feel like if you put in the time now, and that's what I keep telling myself, like put in the time now so that I can, you know, get to my goals faster. So that's what I'm trying to do.
That was a good question. It's funny that your answer to that, because I still kind of feel like I wing it at this point. But it's like week to week, you know what I mean? Like setting up like a 5-day group is so much different than the week following it. You know what I mean? There's each week I feel like it's so different, and your focus is so different. So it's hard to have a set schedule where you're like 15 minutes on my coaches, 15 minutes on my challengers. You know what I mean? It just changes all the time. And then what your coaches need, their needs change all the time too.
Yeah.
And it's day to day.
That's what I find too, because I mean, like I have one coach she's a go-getter. She, you know, she goes in and she finds the answers before she comes to me. And then I have another coach who, you know, she just doesn't. She just comes to me and asks me, and then I have to take the time to explain, like, here's where you can find that, you know, whatever. And I encourage them to go and try and find the answer first. But, you know, some people just need more hand-holding, and some people are just not quite as confident, or they're just not as self-driven, you know, and they need more time. So it changes, and it depends on what kind of challengers you have in challenge groups too. You know, I feel like some groups just take a lot more coddling and attention, and other groups are just like on fire and just go, and it works so smoothly. So it's always evolving.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Good question. Who else has questions for Tara? I don't think we can't hear you. You're unmuted. I don't know. Zoom is so weird. You never know like what's going to happen on it, I feel. Can you type it? Can you type it in like the little chat? Maybe? Can you see it? It says, Tara, do you have just one group for all your coaches, or like discount and career?
I just have one, like my small team, I just have one page, one group set up. So we're all in one group. And my thought process behind that is, like, you never know who's going to sign up as a discount and then kind of see what you're doing and watch, you know, what you're doing, just kind of sit behind the scenes and watch people do things, and then all of a sudden be like, you know what, maybe this is something I'm interested in. So I feel like rather than exclude them and treat them any differently, like I just treat them all the same. I post things, and I really honestly, for my small team page, like my personally sponsored coaches, I actually like watch Megan's, our team page, and I use a lot of what she posts, and then, you know, I feel like if it's pertinent, or like if it applies to a lot of my coaches, like I'll just take that and personalize it and kind of make the same message, but it's coming from me to my coaches. So when you hear like this is a business of, you know, duplication and replication, like it's true. You know, you don't have to come up with your own post, but I do only have the one group, and I post and I just let them know. I know some of you are here as discount coaches, and that's awesome, and I'm glad that you're here. And if you're not like interested in this stuff, just disregard it, don't read it, you know, whatever. And those of you that want to work, you know, this is for you, or, you know, whatever. So that's kind of my thought process, is I treat them all the same and just let them know I'm there to support them in whatever they want to do.
Good question. I've actually had some discount I had a discount coach last night on our team call that I had. She just jumped in just to listen.
Yeah, you just never know.
Yeah, you never know. Good question. Who else has questions? Anyone? How about any questions about social media or anything you want to share from your week? Anyone have anything they want to share? No?
Tara, I love what you said about not like, sorry, Jen, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I didn't realize we were both talking. Go ahead.
Let's see, Jen Atho, are you? You're kind of frozen. I don't know if that's. I can't hear you, Jen. Well, she's fixing her really quick. I want to thank Tara. Thank you so much for talking, and big day for you. So that's awesome. Thank you. And I want to congratulate Janelle, one of my coaches, made Ruby coach today, which is awesome. And she's just like inches away from Diamond. So any day now we'll be celebrating that, as well as a couple others I know. So while we're waiting for Jen, Janelle, or Donna, I think you guys both had something to share. One of you want to go?
Oh.
Tara, I just want to say what you said about not focusing so much on Success Club 5.
Yeah.
I do that constantly. I just think about that way too much. I gotta, think beyond that, I guess, or whatever. I don't know how you worded it exactly, but back the first month I hit Emerald, I hit Success Club 20.
Yeah.
I had like, that was my biggest month ever. I haven't had it since, but, you know, I just stopped focusing on the 5, you know,
Yeah.
and, you know, I'm trying not to do that so much, but, last month was a really stressful month and I barely made 5, like at the end of the month, the very last couple days, you know, but, it's just, I just love the way you worded it, and I'm going to start thinking about it a little differently now. Thank you.
Yeah,
Tell you
good.
that.
I'm good. I'm glad you found that helpful. I mean, it totally changed it changed everything for me, because now I just want to keep, you know, I know I can do that. I know, like, now I just think of 5 as like, you know, and I just know there's so much more.
Awesome. Good question, or good comment, Janelle. Let's see. Jen Atho says, wondering if it's for offering incentives to their team for achieving Emerald. She's at 8 coaches, but none are Emerald, and she wants to stir up the competition. So incentives for Emerald. Tara, you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, so I have tried running a few little like incentive, like contests and things like that, and I don't get a very good response from my group. That doesn't mean that you won't. I think it just depends on who your coaches are and like what they respond to. I don't think it's a bad idea. I mean, I've done incentives for like challenge groups, you know, like for selling challenge packs, like when it's the end of the month if I'm struggling or whatever. But you know, I've tried to do a couple of things on my team page, and I just don't get a good response. So for me, it hasn't worked, but that's not to say it won't work for someone else, you know, and maybe you have some great, you know, ideas for incentives. I mean, but the things that I've tried like gift cards, I've tried like, you know, the cookbook giveaway, I've tried programs, and no one seems to care. I don't know. That's just me anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of speaking for my girls. You guys tell me if I'm wrong, but I think the incentives are almost like an icing on the cake for them. It's kind of like, you know, they're not like working for the incentive necessarily, but it's cool if they win it.
Right.
That's kind of what I found. I think you gotta get goal dates from your girls or your boys. You know, most of mine are girls, but and then work with the people who want it. You know what I mean? And just build them up and give them the confidence to invite. And once they've got one, you've got to really show them the value in signing up their spouse, because if they're business building coaches, you've got it. I mean, I'm really seeing it now. Like, thank God I got my husband in where I did, because, you know, I don't know, like you can really see that as like your team starts to just like expand and everyone's working and their coaches are working, and like thank God I got him in my life, because I didn't know if I was going to. And then the incentives are kind of just there for fun, I think. That's kind of what I found with my team too. Good question. We have 2 minutes. Donna, did you have a question or a comment?
Just quickly. Congratulations, Tara.
Thanks.
I just wanted to say it's almost been maybe 2 months that I've been doing that.
Good Lord.
Emerald. But my question is I feel like the lack of finding people, or I guess new friends on Facebook, you know, there's a lot of groups that I like and I've friended a lot of people, but it's hard to, I guess, start those conversations as far as, you know, because you don't know them, you do know about things they post, and I've commented, you know, liking the same things or similarities, or, you know, it's like I feel like I'm stuck in that rut where it's like I don't have like new people and I just don't know where to go with the people that I have, because, you know, I am consistently posting, and like you, I work full time, so I'm trying to fit it in. You know, I have 2 kids and trying to fit it in when I can at night, but I've been consistent daily. I did my own like page, and, you know, I know people are seeing it, and I know even if they don't like it, they're watching, but I feel like there's just like nothing happening. And it's like, you know, like trying to do the power hour and get like new people. It's like, where do you get them from? Because I feel like I'm like at the max. Like, I'm like, where else can I find people, you know? And it's like, even those people, you know, like I comment on their stuff, but I feel like there's just, you know, nowhere to go from there. Like, how do you get them involved in, you know,
a conversation?
Yeah.
I was right where you are. So like, don't give up, because that's when I felt like throwing in the towel, and it got really frustrating. And that's when you got to dig deeper and really just like stop caring what people think about you. Like, just start a conversation. Just be like, send them a private message and be like, hey, I saw this, you posted this, and you know, I don't know, like, thanks for commenting on my post, or thanks for that advice, like, blah, blah, blah. I see you have little kids too. Like, how old are your kids? Just start like random conversations and talk to them like they're your friend. And they may not reply. I mean, I've sent tons of messages that people have not replied, and I'm like, well,
Right.
whatever.